The show is made possible in part by its supporting sponsors: Blue Water Power Group of Companies, Joe's Discount Tire, and AskGuy.ca. I'm not even sure where to start here because I've known you so long, and our paths have crossed many times and then separated and back. And there you go, Al Duffy. Thanks so much for welcoming me into your home.
Glad to. You know that, Dave.
Yeah. And
I've always considered you a friend.
Yeah.
Former student, become friend.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, that's where, high school, St. Clair Secondary School, where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you were a supply teacher, I guess, or what?
Full-time supply.
Yeah.
But I was there pretty well every day.
Yeah, you were. It was like, what does this guy do?
I had my own office.
You did?
Yes, I did.
We'll get into that, but let's, in the beginning, you're from Sarnia originally, aren't you?
Originally Sarnia, actually born in Alvinston, and grew up in the Tree Streets, not too far from here.
Yeah, okay.
With
What was
100
that
other
like
kids.
growing up around here in the Tree Streets?
Well, a lot different than what it is these days. After the war, Tree Streets, people coming back from the war, so each house had an average of 2.5 or 3.5 kids.
Yeah.
So our time was spent outside, and it was, as you see maybe in people when they post on social media saying kids would have to be called in at getting dark out, get in here.
Yeah.
Well, there'd be 15, 20, 25 of us. Kick the can.
Yeah.
Rover, come on over.
Wow.
All kinds of, and I mean, our famous swimming pool would be the Evergreen Street when it flooded.
Oh,
You're out there running through the water, the dirty water. You know.
Yeah.
Not these days, eh?
No. So that was, what did mom and dad do?
Well, my dad worked at fiberglass, and my mom off and on was a waitress type thing, and then she got involved in some other stuff, and then she got installed as a secretary of real estate. So.
Oh, okay.
But it was not. I'm sorry, it wasn't a happy childhood.
No.
No, it wasn't a good one. So
No. Okay.
we can skip over
So
that part.
how did you get through that?
I don't really know. I mean, to say specifically, like we survived. That's how come I think I became the person I am. That where I've been involved in so many things. Like a lot of people, they get involved in 1, 2, or 3 things, and that's their entire life. But I haven't been involved in so many, as you know, many different things, and one led to the next, led to the next, led to the next, and it was never a plan. It just seemed to be spur of the moment.
What is it that makes you want to do all that you do?
I after all of this reflections, because of what's going on these days, and like this weekend coming up, I think it's just self-satisfaction of saying that I organized something and it went off well. And I think the first real positive, happy thoughts about that was when I organized the high school hockey program with a couple others, and became quite big. And then I took a lot of the kids from St. Clair to Europe twice. Yeah. And I still have people now will come up to me and say, you know, what you did, we'd never have had the chance, and I've never gone back because we've never been able to afford it, or you know, blah blah blah. But wow. So
so you left, and then so growing up, and then Sarnia. Where'd you go to high school?
I actually went to St. Clair.
Did you? Did you like it?
Well, because of our home environment, it was hard to focus on studies. Okay. So I actually got thrown out of St. Clair at one point.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
really?
in my grade 11.
I wish I'd have known that a long time ago.
I know. I mean, here it is, folks, live. Excuse me. I got, I mean, because back then they still wore suits and ties, and you didn't use bad words. So anyway, I thought, well, I don't need it, because my dad was a pretty big will at fiberglass at that time. Okay. So he said, you know, I'm at 15, I was working there Christmases and stuff, and making big money.
Oh, yeah, right.
Big money. Yeah,
For
right.
that time, right.
And so then I thought, I don't need this. I can go to work at fiberglass. So I had a friend whose dad was on the Board of Education. Okay. And subsequently, we rode motorcycles. Small
you rode a motorcycle?
Oh my God, yeah. I started out with a Suzuki. Yeah. A small Suzuki electric start. There was the other, I'll never forget, push a button, away you go. Right. That's when you go down the street, you know, flip-flops, cut off shorts, maybe a t-shirt. Oh. That was it. And so there was 3 of us at fiberglass that all rode bikes, and we hung around together, and his dad. So because of them, they said, you got to go back and you got to go back to school. Yeah. So the next year I tried to go back. They said, well, it's probably best that you go to another school. So Skits said, sure, come on over. And it was the best time of my life.
Oh, really?
I loved Skits. It was just great. I don't know, I got involved in the Skits Review, which was one of the huge things back then.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the people that you're around was so much fun. Like I loved it, and my marks went way up too. It was ironic, my marks went up.
Well, when you're having a good time,
yeah, so
things matter.
it was great. I loved my year at Skits.
And then you went off to university.
Well, I sort of tried to. Didn't work out too well.
No.
Didn't work out too
What
well.
did you go to university for?
Well, I went for business, and I went to live with friends of family, my mom's sister in Smiths Falls, and I would commute to Ottawa and back forth, and got to the point where it was just too much, and I wasn't that keen on it. So then I came back here, and I tried Lambton College for a bit, and again, had a good time.
Yeah.
But never really ended up with a degree.
No.
So, yeah, so it was I mean, back and forth. At one point in my life, back still when I was just going to go to Skits, I wasn't going to be living at home. I was actually living with what is now my step family. And it's like my stepmother is now 90, Shirley Archer. I don't know if you know Shirley. So they became like the family I never really had. Loving, caring, bonding.
Nice.
It was, yeah, it's wonderful. So, and right now we're really close. I'm still really close to them.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
My own family, I had an older brother who felt that the smart thing to do is marry an American girl and get the hell out of Sarnia.
Okay.
And of course, you know, my sister, I think, she's still here. She lives on Lakeshore, and she sort of runs Planet Stitch with my
Oh yeah,
nephew,
right,
Pat. Yeah. So yeah, so we're close. We're close that way. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How did you get into teaching?
Good question.
Yeah. Well,
when I ended up getting involved, I was over there, and I was doing something with, I can't remember what it was, but there was a teacher there by the name of Stu Hurry.
Okay.
And he was a flamboyant phys ed teacher. And back then you didn't need a degree to teach, teacher's degree.
Right.
You could do so many days, and then if you did more, then they just had to ask the principal to approve it.
Okay.
So that's when I started going there, and I started because of my background, I'm in there just teaching that, and then all of a sudden, boom, I thought, I had a friend who was a teacher, and he said, you're doing real, you should go back to school, get your degree, and be a teacher. So I did.
Yeah.
Which I still surprised to these days, because I can still remember my first time. Here I am in a classroom for the first time of a school that I was thrown out of, let's say. And I'm turned around, I'm writing my name with chalk on the chalkboard.
Yeah. Mr. Duffy.
And turn around and look and go, oh, you poor kids. and again, I just evolved. Like I started doing a lot of bingos for the different clubs, and
yeah, I remember that.
I was so lucky to be mentored by Errol Kilner.
Yeah.
What a great man he was.
Yeah.
And Warren Kennedy when he came through, and Wayne Perizzo, and I mean, there was just some great people there that it was really
timing
worth
was
it.
good.
Oh, it was. It was the right time, the right place.
Yeah.
And that's why I say. And then of course, along comes the Tae Kwon Do Club.
Yeah. Well, and that is something. Well, I know you're being recognized in the Sports Hall of Fame.
Like Saturday, yeah.
Coming up this Saturday, and how do you feel about that?
Excuse me. Old.
Yeah.
I had to go through and make a list of all of like they wanted, like your bio.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I thought, okay, so it took me a while to get at it, and when I finally did, it was like the page was full.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
realize.
you've done so much,
I
right?
didn't realize I did so much.
Yeah.
I mean, the Tae Kwon Do Club started because I had taken Tae Kwon Do earlier on when I was in fiberglass, which is another interesting story in all itself. And I was only a red belt, which is one away from black. And I had some kids there said, well, this karate stuff, because Tae Kwon Do back then was not known at all.
No, I remember.
It wasn't even in the Olympics.
Like I remember being in high school at that time, and you brought that around, and I remember all of us, we were teenagers thinking,
That's right.
what is this, Tae Kwon Do? Like, is it a cheap form of karate? Or like we thought all kinds of things, because we didn't know, we were kids, right? So, but you were able to grow that, and I still to this day when I look at you,
What?
I just like black belt, really, like a black belt. But yeah, like it's just hard, just because I've known you as a person from as a teenager, and I learned a lot of business skills from you, and I remember a lot of the conversations we had. And when I wasn't doing so good and stuff like that. And then,
but you had a penchant. I could see it back then. You had a penchant for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like technology.
Yeah.
I was too busy even to think about technology.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the only reason I ever bought my first computer was because for the club, and it was called an Apple IIe dual disk drive.
I know, right?
And it's so that we were doing all the always fundraising at St. Clair because the kids had no money. And so we were doing cheese drives. Well, instead of somebody having to say, hey, like, go through each one and keep what kind, what size, the computer would do it.
Yeah.
It took all night.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have to plugged in all night running on the program.
Now you could do it on your phone.
On the phone.
Right?
Done.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I just never pictured you as a black belt.
Only did I. I never did either.
You know.
I mean, I got into the Tae Kwon Do, and then when I got out, I went back, and I go back to a small club here in town, and the guy, he must have recognized the fact that, again, I'm an organizer, I'm a doer, and he would take off and say, well, I need you to run the club tonight. Well, I'm a red belt, not even a black belt. Yeah. And here he's walking away, leaving me with the club for a weekend while he's off doing something else.
Right.
So then when the three boys talked me into opening, doing it at the school, I had no idea that like 5 years later there'd be like nearly 200 members.
Yeah.
Board of directors.
Yeah.
And I'm going from one coast to the other coast. I'm going to tournaments.
Right.
I'm recognized. I became a national recognized referee official.
Yeah.
Got all the way to the national level. And so, wow.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
It's exciting though.
Well, it was then. I mean, I remember one year I dipped my toe. We were out east. I dipped my toe, and then it wasn't 2 months later I'm in BC, and I'm thinking, same year you're right across the whole country. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
And then and now you're involved with boxing.
Well, I went from Tae Kwon Do to MMA to boxing.
Right.
Believe it or
the
not.
MMA. Right. I remember that too.
Exactly. Yep.
And that was I remember being involved with that, and I'm thinking, this was quite an experience for me. It was
an experience
because it was a behind, for me it was a behind the scenes, and I remember at that time, MMA was looked at a lot differently than it is today.
Correct.
Like I think it's more respected probably now, but I remember thinking like, how much of this is real, because people were comparing it to wrestling and that sort of thing.
It was
and it's
real.
like, oh, the hitting and everything was real. Sure, there's a show part to it for sure, the entrance music or whatever.
That's right, yeah, that part, theatrics.
I remember doing some announcing one time.
Yep.
And a few times, and I remember, I think...
Campbell Street Station, maybe?
Yeah. And
that was you.
The referee, what was his name? He was a fighter, but he was like a guest referee. Paquette, maybe, or something, or Joel
Paquette.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
And I'm standing beside him, and
he was an MMA pro fighter.
Yeah, and I remember kind of whispering to him. I go, "Do these guys like really hate each other?" Because they had done the promos, right? And it was like, wow. And he's like, "You're gonna want to get out of here as quick as possible." So I remember doing the announcements, and I was out of there. The cage wasn't even closed, and this one guy ran around the octagon, and they're supposed to only go around like twice. He kept going, and every time he went by the other guy, he said something. He's like, "You're dead," and I was like, "Alrighty," and I got out of there, and that was just crazy for me to hear that and experience that, and some other things too. Did you enjoy that time?
I ended up being part of an organization that we created a provincial amateur body,
right, and
we applied to the province to become the POV, provincially recognized.
Yeah.
And it was between us and someone else, and at the last second the government said, no, we're going to make it illegal. So they shut everything down.
Yeah.
So all these people in MMA now have to either go to Quebec or Alberta or Michigan.
Yeah.
But FYI, it's about to become legal. I think in the next 2 or 3 months it'll become legal.
Wow.
So it'll change, because I've been getting phone calls.
So we might see...
No. This boxing, I have a lot of time with boxing these days. I mean, with Tom Hennessy and all the boxing,
Tom, by the way, you're on my list for an interview. There's another interesting
guy. You better set aside 2 or 3 hours.
Right. Well, I could probably do that with you. 2-3 hours. I could probably do a documentary series on you for everything that I even know that you've done. Right? So the boxing, and I know there's a big event coming up for that.
That's right. We're running the Canadian Boxing Championships in the 21, 22, 23 of November at the skits.
Yeah, that's going to be
And
fun.
you're involved.
Yeah.
Because your name
We're
came
gonna
up
do
in our
some-
meeting yesterday.
Oh, is that right?
With the, because you're doing the video and
Yeah,
all that
that's
sort
right.
of
The
stuff.
live
Yeah,
streaming. and
exactly.
Stuff. I'm
Very
excited for that too.
We're excited to see what you're going to do for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Well, for me,
And-
actually, what's nice, less work. Once it starts, it's less work.
Yeah, but you're working hard now.
Well, trying to get it organized.
Do you sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm usually up at 5:20 in the morning,
Yeah.
walking him
What's
at 6.
I was going to say, what's your routine?
Yeah, well, like I said, I try to get into bed 8:30 into the bed, watch some TV and settle down. And some days I can fall asleep and I think, oh, I fell asleep at 10 or at 10:30. But I'm always 5:20. I'm awake. It's going around. And
You don't have an alarm clock?
well, yeah, but it goes off at 5:30.
Right.
So I'm always looking at it going, oh, I got 5 more minutes. I got 5, 2 more minutes. And then as soon as I move, my big dog is right there.
Yeah.
You know what time it is.
Right.
You know what time
It's
it
time
is.
for a
And he's
walk.
his head's right there. So.
Yeah.
And I have a little one that's at the door right now trying to get in.
Right.
And she too wants to get outside, but she doesn't need to be walked. So.
Right. Did you ever have opportunity to leave Sarnia, go somewhere else, then you thought that might be a good idea if I do?
Not because I want. I mean, the circumstances always. Yeah, I want to get the heck out of here. But it wasn't the city itself. It would be more like personal. The environment. Like I say, with like my brother, he did that. He got the hell out. He moved to the States and became an American.
Right.
So there's been and when I went away to school, that's what I thought too. This is great. I'm getting out of here. But then I realized no.
So what
it didn't
kept
really
you
matter.
here?
Well, I'm not really sure. I think it's just when I started working at St. Clair and I really started to enjoy what I was doing there, and then it's like you just get too busy to think about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of time I put in, like at the school day, and then I was also helped with track. Earl say, well, you got to help with track,
right.
and then you do the high jump. So every year I'm doing the high jump. And the football team said, well, Duff, hey, listen, can you at least hold the camera, film the games for us? So I did the football. And I mean, there was a short period of time, too, there where I was involved in modern pentathlon, which you probably didn't know about.
No.
Yeah, with Jim Stokely.
Oh, is that right?
And the coach was a teacher at St. Clair named Joe Bushko.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
Did you remember Joe Bushko?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
He was a Hungarian guy that was absolutely outrageous, like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Stories I could tell you about the modern pentathlon days, Jim and I going to Texas, U.S. training facility. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That could be another half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim and I were pretty close at one point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you being very creative too, as far as fundraising went. It was like, I do remember the cheese draws and stuff, but I remember things like, and if I dug somewhere,
yeah, the fundraising, everyone thinks that I'm an expert.
Well, you did some creative things though.
Yes,
if I
did.
recall, it was like, I remember. There's Tucker. They're both saying hi to each other.
Tucker, go lay down. Go lay down. Go on. Thank you.
This is
Sorry.
the family. No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I remember
mean,
these clappers.
the hand clappers.
The hand clappers.
That's right. I have one upstairs.
Never seen one of those before until
Purple and white.
That's right.
That's right. You go St. Clair at the Colt on one side. I got those for the school.
Those things they sold like crazy, and they were everywhere.
Don't even ask me how many freezies I sold.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, where did that come from for you? This creativity. I mean, and sometimes when you borrow it, you see an idea somewhere else, and you borrow it. And bring
exactly.
It in.
Yeah. A lot of the time, either you take the idea and then you twist it a little bit. Like I have done brainstorming.
Yeah.
Especially with my Communities in Bloom when I was with them.
Right.
I was the fund, develop, creator type guy, and I would brainstorm. And I'd say to them, listen, this is how it works, so we'll get together and don't be afraid and blah, blah, blah. But usually, as it turned out, 9 times out of 10, the idea that I originally had, once I presented it, they all thought, well, that is a best idea.
Yeah, right, okay.
Like the trips to Vegas to see Toronto play Las Vegas.
Yeah, right.
Did that, I think, 4 times, and we made so much money off of that. So much money out of that.
And you just like, what do you like see a need somewhere and go and be involved with that? Like you were involved in Alzheimer's Society at one point.
Yeah, I was chair of finance, and
right.
I like And last Friday I was directing traffic at the Brigden Fair for Alzheimer's.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Marie, my good friend Marie.
Yeah.
Help.
Right.
Yeah. You know Marie, Marcy?
Yeah,
of course you know Marie.
I do.
Yeah, she just can't find anybody. Come on, just one night.
Yeah.
Bring your chair.
That's because they know you'll say yes.
I didn't get to sit down.
No.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, anytime I could see an idea, like we did apple cider at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to go and find the jugs. And I remember renting a truck to go to Toronto to fill it with these plastic jugs to come back, to go to the guy who's pressing it, filling it, and then to the school. And the other one was oranges at Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Transport full.
Yeah. That was at St. Clair.
St. Clair.
Yeah, I kind of remember
one
that
whole change room was full of oranges.
Right.
And yeah, we did
so did
much.
anybody back then look at you and go, that guy's crazy?
I'm sure.
What is he doing?
I'm sure.
But that's probably what made it good, I think, was it was like, you call that, what do you call that now, disturbed marketing, or there's a term for it, but like shaking it up, right? Grab the attention and give people something different.
Well, it just occurred to me, one of the other fundraisers that we did back then, and it wouldn't be done now, is the Rocky Horror Picture Show was a audience and participation show.
Yes.
So I thought we should get a big screen and we should run it in the cafeteria. You buy tickets and then you can light and you can throw your toilet paper and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I did that, and actually what I had to do was rent the show on these big 16 millimeter spools, two of them.
Yep.
And then take all the chairs down and put everything in there. I mean, I just think, I can't believe that. That was crazy. And then the first time I did a dance for the club, I thought, it's got to be something special. So I did something special. Blah, blah, the first year, blah, blah. And we did this and we did that and all sorts of good stuff. And it wasn't that successful the first year. Mm-hmm. So all the crepe paper, because the windows wouldn't open and it was so hot, and the crepe paper lay on the floor, and the nice floor, the coloring. So they had to bring in custodians to clean the floor. So a few weeks later, the principal of the school calls me and says, ow, looking at all of the clubs. Hey,
somebody's here.
Yeah. So looking at the floor, they had to call in the custodians.
Right.
One thing I did learn early on in teaching is get along with the custodians and secretarial staff.
Right.
And cafeteria staff. When you need something, they'll help you.
Right.
So he called me and he said, Al, I'm looking at all the finances for all the clubs. He says, like, you're 8,000 in the hole. Can you cover that? I said, just give me some time. Well, the next year, because of what we had done that year, and even improved on some stuff, changed some stuff, like a different theme and everything else, made over $10,000.
Yeah.
Had to lock the doors to keep kids out.
Is that right?
So it all worked out very well.
Yeah. And I remember you had a big dance at the arena, Clearwater Arena.
And that's the days when they didn't want them anymore because they weren't run properly and they weren't safe and all that. And it was Duddy Barr, actually, who passed away.
Barr. I knew him as a little boy because my dad played badminton. He was one of the founders of the badminton club, along with Susan Kaya, and then Duddy Barr and Dad played badminton all the time.
Well, Duddy, if I hadn't known Duddy, he said, Al, because it's you and I know you, I'll hold you personally responsible. So yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because we outgrew the gym here.
Yeah.
And
then lip syncing came along.
I forgot about that.
I remember. Well, and you bought this electronic billboard sign that was, it was like $5,000.
It was pricey. It was crazy pricey.
And I got the privilege of being given the manual, and I learned how to program it for the school. And I used to rent it from you, I think, and take it to the teen dances. And,
that's right.
And I programmed all the bingo halls that had them. And then I remember working at that big dance at the Clearwater Arena. We had that up there. But then the lip sync contest happened. And a high school friend of mine, Greg, actually, I have video somewhere of my friend Greg and his band lip syncing, and I had the sign down front programming it while everything went on, saying applause.
One of the best acts I remember from there was some guys did the Pointer Sisters.
Yeah.
And then a few years later in Vegas, I got to see them.
Yeah.
So that clicked. But I mean, yeah, we went through the that and the breakdancing.
Yeah. Oh, breakdancing.
And also the fashion shows.
Yep.
Like at lunchtime, I'd run fashion shows.
Right.
And I still remember my nephew at one point, and I mean, the gym would be packed, just packed.
You broke a lot of barriers doing this kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Or you set a pace of like, it's okay to like shake things up a little bit, because we see a lot of that now. I mean, you say like wouldn't be allowed to do it now, the same as like Archie Bunker probably wouldn't be on television today.
That's correct. No.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let me ask you about this now. Have we gone too far on being sensitive? Are we too sensitive sometimes?
100% yes.
Yeah.
100% yes.
Could you be teaching today, like, and you did do some teaching at the college, I know, like part-time, right?
Well, I'm still teaching at St. Pat's.
Are you? Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's 43 years because they can't find anyone.
But how are you dealing with that kind of stuff?
I haven't changed what I do. I'm a little more careful because I know I read what they say and do, and it's a Catholic school. I'm very careful, but I also read the kids.
Yeah.
And when you're in the tech area, I still do things I would do back then, which a lot of teachers wouldn't even think about doing. I mean, the new teachers wouldn't think about doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if a kid's on his computer and he's watching games, I said, don't use games. I go up behind and I kick the back of the chair and, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to call my lawyer. And I say, okay, I have one too. And then all the kids, they just laugh. The kids just laugh and stuff. So, but it's ironic because out of every class I'm in, 3, 4, 5 of them know me because who their parents I taught and or they're all aware that I'm a 5th degree black belt. So often they'll say, well, show us something. I said, I'm not here to entertain you.
Right.
But then I monitor the class, and then at the end of the class, if they've been pretty good class, I'll say, okay, I'll show you 1 or 2 things. So then I go lie down. Go on, get. So then I'll like one kid, I mean, he's in grade 12, I think, this year, and he'll always say, well, remember the one time in class and you I ended up, you threw me. And I go, no, I don't. No, I don't. It's just a simple wrist thing you take down.
Right.
You threw me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did that.
Probably felt like it to him.
Yeah,
right?
well, it might have, but I mean, I don't hurt nobody.
No.
No, I've always taught total control. Tae Kwon Do, total control. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. There's a lot of discipline involved in that.
That key word is discipline and respect.
Yeah.
2 key words.
And is it for defense purposes only?
That's what we tell our kids. You never throw it. You never start it. You never start it. And you only defend yourself.
Yeah.
That's just to defend yourself.
Have you ever watched any of the Cobra Kai series?
No.
And go, come on. Like, that's so, I mean, there's...
I saw a little bit and I go, no.
It's Hollywood, right?
It's total Hollywood.
It's a great story, though. You didn't like
well, I watched,
Karate Kid and
I
stuff
no,
like
the
that?
first Karate Kid and the second one, I really enjoy those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a movie watcher?
Yeah. No, I don't go to the movie theaters anymore. No. I mean, there's not too much there that really, but I mean...
Well, you got to mortgage your house to go to the movies nowadays.
Do you?
It's crazy how much it is.
I know they make a lot of popcorn.
Right. I'll never forget my son years ago said, Dad, I want to take you to the movies. You know, you want to pay for Dad kind of thing. And I said, I'll pay for us to get it in. And of course I was like, you don't have to do that. You know, no, I want to. Okay. So he paid to get in and he said, you got to get the popcorn, and me not thinking, I went, yeah, okay. And then I went,
it was more money.
I should have paid for the ticket.
That's right.
In.
Last time I took my nephew's two boys.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God. And then they said, can we get free refills of drinks? And I said, I don't think so.
I think you can get a free refill.
Oh.
But then you missed part of the movie.
Yeah, they didn't need it. But that's quite a while ago, and I thought it was Aquaman. I can remember it was Aquaman because I felt like seeing that. Yeah. So was that a few years ago?
That's
Aquaman?
A few years ago.
Okay.
That's pre-COVID.
But I mean, with big screen TVs and here in my bedroom downstairs,
right?
You know, you got
the sound system.
Oh yeah, it's all here. It's all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like anybody.
What was COVID like for you?
Hated it.
Yeah.
Killed me.
Yeah. because you're just super social and
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
No, I hated it.
yeah,
No, I hated it.
that was a tough time.
I won't go through it again. I will not go through it again.
Yeah,
They try to pull that crap on again,
yeah.
saying, we're going to, no, you're not.
Do you think that would happen again?
I don't think the population would allow that.
No.
I mean, they're still in the courts with
Yeah.
his arrive ad scam of Trudeau's.
Yeah.
People that, I mean, I hear stories of that personally from people who were forced in there and now they're facing $10,000 fines because they didn't go into a hotel and,
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah.
I also know someone who got the poke and because of the poke,
Yeah.
ruined their life. But I mean, it's all, I don't know. The world's a different place now than it was
Well,
we were at St. Clair, my friend.
Right, and it was it brought out things in people maybe we didn't know existed there before. Did you have any conflicts between, like, did you lose any friends over it? I guess.
Well,
like
some
some people
friends
did.
or some people. Well, I can say there's one because he was dead set against.
Yeah,
He's a health nut, and it's just no, it's a flu.
yeah,
I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not
Right.
doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting poked. No.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately for him, whatever lifestyle he had going, it wasn't made mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was mandatory for teachers, so I had to go, get that. And I actually, friends said, well, we need help volunteering. So I was at the arena volunteering with the lineups. Oops, sorry about that. I'll turn it off.
Happens every time.
God, does it? Does it?
Oh yeah, the phones
Forgot
are.
to turn it off.
It's okay. I'm surprised it hadn't rang more today. Do you need to take that?
No, not at all. It's just I have mine flashing. So
Oh yeah, right.
quietly
No,
flashing.
yeah, my wife has that too. And it's like, are you doing anything that, do you have the bucket list of something you want to put on, or because if I know you, you've got a book of ideas.
Yeah, I've been pushing for.
Where is
before
it?
COVID?
I know it's around here somewhere.
Yeah, this catalog over here. Before COVID, we with Tom and the boxing, we had the Scottish team over here.
Right. Yes.
And so then the next year, I did a fundraiser with him, which was the Toronto, Las Vegas trippy thing with the tickets, and that money's still in the bank, waiting to be spent. And I keep saying to him, I want to go to Scotland. I've been around the world a lot. Like, I've been to Korea, I've been to Australia, I've been to Europe, and I've been to places, but I've never been to England, Ireland, Scotland. So I've always wanted to go there. And I said, so I want to go. So a month ago, I regenerated the idea, and I personally got a hold of them, and they got back to me, and I CC'd Tom constantly. We're going back and forth. So finally, believe it or not, as of 2 days ago, after much going back and forth, approvals by the different governing bodies, blah. Next May, I'm going to Scotland.
Oh, is that right?
I am.
I'm jealous because that's somewhere I've always wanted
Yep,
to go.
we're going, and then of course we're going to be with the locals. Well, a couple of 2 or 3 boxing events. Get to take the kids, which I'm used to. Like most of my trips, we're taking the kids, right? The team, the kids.
Yeah.
So always traveling with people.
Yeah. That's good.
Organizing it.
I'm excited for you.
I am too.
I can't wait to hear
I am
how
too.
that goes.
Looking forward to it.
So coming forward now to this Saturday coming up here, you're in the. We already said it briefly, but you're going to be in the Sports Hall of Fame. And when you first got the call or the email, whatever it was,
It was a call. That's what I did. What?
Yeah.
What? As it turns out, my nephew, who was a former hockey player, I went the year that he was inducted.
Yeah.
And then my stepbrothers, both of them were on a baseball team, and I went the year they were inducted. And then when Blue Water Tae Kwon Do, my friends were there, when they were inducted, I went to the event. So I joined the organization and kept paying my dues. And I wonder if one day, and a lot of people would say, you should be in there. You should be in there. You should be in there. I'm like, well, okay, well. So I guess this year my nephew was, knows him, and he sponsored, he put in the application, and bingo.
Yeah.
I got, chosen as a builder.
Right.
So I guess that means organizer, builder.
I would think so.
Yeah, so and I think they said it was because of the Tae Kwon Do Club, which I thought, well,
I was a part of it.
that's
might
only
have
one.
been
Let
the
me tell you,
initial,
there's lots
yeah.
of other
Well, hockey and Because weren't you involved with the little hockey? I forget what's it called. Little NHL or?
Well, yeah, the 1 year, yeah, Little NHL, which is the Aboriginal, which is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1 year I went with my nephew Duffy. We went down, and he got the contract to sell T-shirts and stuff. So I was there.
And you work with him at Planet
a little bit with the family,
Planet Stitch, right?
Yeah, a little bit with my nephew.
I see him up in the suite once in a while there, and that he shares with, I think, 40 Fuel and whatnot.
Yeah,
So he's built himself quite a business there, and then families involved, a lot of families involved there.
Yep.
Like your sister, I think.
My sister, yeah. She's like the focus point.
Right.
She does all of the ordering.
What do you do there? What's your role there?
Well, I just open a few boxes and they answer the phone when it rings and maybe wait on a customer.
Yeah. Just to keep yourself involved.
A little bit, yeah. I don't like to sit at home.
No, not too much.
I really don't.
So, were you excited for this then? Or like, are you excited, nervous?
Well, originally very excited. The interesting part is that they say it sells out. So if you want tickets, tell us how many.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I don't know how many tickets.
I'm sad I can't go.
And well, I would have been great to see you there. Would have been great.
We'll talk after.
Yeah. So they said, so you buy them up front, and I said, well, okay, I'll try to pick a number, and then I'll give you my credit card. Oh no, we only take cash or check. And I thought, checks? I haven't had a check.
A check? What's that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that is anymore. So I laid out cash for 30 tickets, and then I've been sitting on them thinking, I've got other things to do. This isn't priority yet. And just today I tallied to make sure, because all of a sudden I got, they want to go and they want to go. And they went, oh, I'm out of tickets.
Yeah.
I'm out of tickets.
That's a good thing.
Well, it is, but there'll be 30 people that are going to be there for me, which is 3 tables of 10. And my sister will be there. My nephew will be there. People, like, it's going to be ironic in that one of my first Tae Kwon Do students and his wife will be there. Todd Carter with Michelle. And he was one of the original 3. He sent me a message and said, we want to be there. I thought, oh, that's great. And then on my high school hockey days with both trips to Europe and stuff, which is here on the wall behind your head, that's us in Germany.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One kid who's in that picture works at Planet Stitch, and he says, out of the blue, he goes, well, I want to be there for you too, Al. And I went, oh, okay.
Is this a Mr. Holland's Opus for you?
I know that movie, buddy. I know. Well, I've thought to myself, I walk this guy every morning and I go through my mind, well, what do you want to say in your speech? How much do you want to say? What path do you want to go down? And it's just so much. It's just so much. And I thought, well, I'm sure they didn't want you up there for 2 hours. I mean, there's a lot of other people going to give speeches. And all the dignitaries, like you get the mayor and the MP and the MPP. And
well, it's good that I'm giving you an hour here then.
Well, it certainly is. Thank you very much.
You can get some of that out. Yeah.
So I thought, well, they're giving me that platform, which is quite nice. They're giving me a platform to thank people. I mean, these people that are there in the room. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of either it was Tae Kwon Do or whether it's hockey or if it's boxing now, which I still can't believe at my age
Did you know
boxing? Yeah,
and you're a level 2.
I just got my level 2
for refereeing.
Refereeing,
what do they call it? They call it refereeing or officiating?
Well, officiating, and then so you start off judging, and then you get in the ring, and then they have a supervisor watches you, and so you start off at level 1, and then you go 2, 3, 4. They go up to 4.
I didn't know you did that, I knew
was not by design.
No, well, I knew you were a judge because I'd been at like a Banger in the Hangar.
Exactly,
that, and then the most recent one was for the Realtors in the Ring.
The Realtors in the Ring.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I brought a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, there he is. And I was watching you like a hawk. I was like, how does he do this? Like, how does this work? And you were just very like, this is how it's going to go, boys. And you just need to follow. You just need to listen.
Well, it goes back to my Tae Kwon Do days.
Yeah.
I mean, as an international ref, like before in a big event, you had to go for a 2-day training.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, it got ridiculous. But anyway, what I learned was it's my ring.
Yeah.
I'm in control. So when I did the same thing with boxing, this is my ring.
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know what you're going to do. So
I'd be nervous.
Listen to me. Well,
there's a lot of emotion going on when that's like with the fighters.
Oh man, you look in their eyes, and guess what?
Right.
They're not there.
Yeah.
They're not. Are you like you can look at them and go,
Yeah.
oh, they're not listening. They're not there.
Yeah.
So I actually, because of Tae Kwon Do and then the MMA and then so I'm at my first event where I've been judging for a while, and then they say, oh my God, we're short somebody. So Al, you got to go in the ring. So what? Yeah, you can do it. So get in the ring. So that was it there.
Were you scared the first time?
Well, I was a little nervous because the signals for boxing are different than the signals for Tae Kwon Do.
Oh.
And I constantly get told by my supervisor, great friend of mine now, Kathy, she teaches at the police college, and she's an excellent person. But anyway, for Tae Kwon Do, it was always break, and she calls it the chop. So I had to get rid of that because when I'm telling them to stop, I'd go stop. And there's the chop coming out, eh?
Right.
And she keeps saying, stop the chop, stop the chop. You just have to use your voice, say break or stop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's much more structured for Tae Kwon Do.
So you just get a little confused with it.
Well, I'm not anymore. I've done so much center roughing now that I feel...
Have you ever been bumped or hit by, obviously not intentionally, but did you get in the way?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going one way and they start to go the other way and the ring ropes are behind you, you might get pushed, but you just yell stop.
Yeah.
And as you know, my voice carries.
Yes, it does. You don't need a microphone a lot of times.
Correct. And people say that. They call it my gym voice.
Oh, yeah,
That's
right.
what I got used to in the gym. Kid, the far end of the gym, pick up that ball, he heard me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you enjoy doing that, though, now?
I am, yeah. I mean, the club shows where you go down and you do like 12, 13, 14 bouts is nice.
Yeah.
But they have these marathon things like the Brampton Cup, which is the largest in all of Canada. It's a 3-day event. So as an official, you have to be up for weigh-ins at 7, and then you have your weigh-ins, and then you go back to your hotel, and then an hour later you go back, and then you have an afternoon session where you can have like up to 18, 24 bouts. And then if you're lucky, you get done enough time to eat before you have the evening session for 21, 22 bouts.
Yeah.
You do that for 3 days, and you come home and go, oh my gosh, that's enough.
I'm tired. Yeah.
I'm tired.
I'm over.
So that's why I say that the nationals here, they're all national refs coming from different provinces.
Yeah.
They're level 4s plus, so I won't be doing any officiating or anything. I'll just be enjoying it probably.
Enjoying it more.
Probably, yeah.
Did you know when you were doing all these things, from the Tae Kwon Do to the fundraising to boxing to everything we've just talked about, and I know there's a lot more, did you know that you were going to be having an impact on people the way, do you realize, like from a student like me to the fella in the picture, did you know you were having an impact?
You don't even think about that at the time. I don't think about it. But many years ago, when some students would stop you and say something meaningful, wow, they can really get to you. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, my front yard's a little different.
Yep.
That's a former student.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. And he did that for me, which blew me away.
Yeah.
That really blew me away, Dave.
Yeah.
And he's going to be at the event next.
Right.
Like he said, I got to be there for you next Saturday with his wife and 2 kids and stuff. And wow, yeah, no, I had no idea. But as time goes by, and you bump into more and more students, and that's exactly what they say is like, Mr. Duffy, And then a student whose parent that you had at St. Clair, and then well, you taught my dad or you taught my mom, and my dad says that you better not screw up with your class because you're a great guy and blah, 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 and blah. And he was just, I heard all the stories about his trip, and I said, well, maybe some of them I don't want to hear.
Right.
So don't tell them to me. I mean, back in those days, right, like things were a lot different.
You've done it for me too, like you must know that. Like, I mean, some opportunity, like even, the digital sign, like that might not have seemed like a big deal to you at the time, but I remember running with that for a long time, and I just learned, a lot of business skills, like I had my receipt book and everything.
Correct,
I rode my bicycle to all of those, anyway,
I recall that.
And so,
But see, where did that come from inside you? That had to come from inside you. persevere.
But sometimes you got the right person, you know, because when I was teaching the college part-time, and I miss it now, but it was, I've oftentimes had you in the back of my mind when I'm teaching and going, okay, I've got to help them realize things about them about themselves and help them bring it out. And then, you know, there is a point where it's like, well, if they don't do anything about it, that's nothing I can do. But
well, I've always thought that's like I don't know why, but I've evolved to the point where I see a student, talk to a student, and you get a sense of, well, they've had it pretty rough, but you know, there's something about him, like there's something that I think is going to work out. And like I say, I can think of one person in particular that he was dynamic back then, and his background was really bad, and now he's, don't want to mention any names, I don't want to say anything, but he's super successful now. And again, he's told me that if it hadn't been for you, and I think, God, it's not just for me. Like, I mean, part sure. But I mean, even at that point, I wasn't thinking what I'm doing for you is like, you know, I mean, it's, you just do.
Well, you've done a lot, and you've done a lot for me. You've done a lot for so many, and I officially congratulate you on coming into the Hall of Fame. And,
thank you.
Everything else. And I know you're not done yet. Like, you know, there's so much more that Al Duffy, I think, is going to contribute into this community.
Wow, come on, I'm really old, buddy.
Yeah, whatever. But you've got some other things that I think are coming down the pipeline that, one thing I know about Al Duffy is if he's in, he's all in.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That I used to think was like a liability. That was a liability. Like, can't you separate that a little bit and not? Because when I get onto a project, I'm all in. Like, I am so all in.
Isn't that the way it should be, though?
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but these days it's very difficult to get young people to volunteer for things. Very, very difficult.
Yeah, why is that? Didn't we teach them?
Well, I know at St. Pat's, it's part of their process. They really encourage and push, and I see good things, like when they do some of the stuff that they do. I see that, but I'm not sure that all of the schools do that. I don't know. I don't understand it. I would think that you'd get a certain percentage, but when you get some good volunteers, hang on to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some friends that have been doing everything forever. Denise and Murray, like, can count on them. Like, you can count on them.
Yeah.
Wow. And of course, if you take a look at what they do, and I know you know them, so I mean, you know what they do. Like, what don't they do? They set a really good example.
Well, I'm looking forward to more of what you're doing, because like I said, I don't think you're done. You're far from. See, the evil laugh. That tells me right there. I know you're up to something. But I'm very grateful that you gave me your time. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Dave, thank you for dropping by. It was wonderful.
And always enjoy our chats. And there,
Tucker wants to say goodbye.
So that's going to be a wrap up here, and we're going to congratulate Al once again on his Hall of Fame. And hi there. The animals, the families are here to make sure that everything's good. But thanks to all of you for watching, and as I always say, click the like and the love and click the share so we can share Al's story and everybody else I have here on the show. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.
Bye.